So the four of you, you obviously have very big seats at very small tables. And what I mean by that is that these individuals and their companies, they're impacting and shaping the city that we live in. And it's in a meaningful and a lasting way. So none of you achieved your level of success overnight. You were all the newbies at one point. And my question is for us, the newbies in the room, what is that fundamental piece of advice that you would give to them?
Okay, so mine's a three-parter, but I promise I'll weave it together. No one is going to advocate for you like you will. So to that end, most raises and promotions aren't given, they're asked for. But I don't recommend asking for something that you can't back up with data. So it is crucial that you create a community where you can ask some of those intimate and vulnerable and uncomfortable questions. And I'll tell you a quick story. Last year, I got a sense that my comp was maybe below market. And typically I'd wait around for someone else to notice and come to me with my change of status, and we'd go from there. But I realized that no one knew better than me the work I was doing day to day and how it impacted our bottom line. So I took matters into my own hands, which probably surprises none of you, and called some of the women that do what I do for a living. And believe it or not, there aren't a lot of us, but they each took my call and had a really open and honest and vulnerable conversation with me and shared their comp. And we're competitors, so it's uncomfortable for that reason. And talking about money is taboo, so it was uncomfortable for that reason. But because of this community that we have, they each did it. And I took that data back, as well as some, internet research on regional and state comp, beefed up my job description, and got a 38% raise. So some of the women are in this room, so to them I say thank you so much for being open to having those conversations. And I think when we come together like that, it's so powerful and effective and, financially responsible, I guess, for me anyway.
I would say some things. I think in being in my role, personal relationships really, really matter, and taking time to develop those. And sometimes with social media, we kind of get caught in the trap of, you kind of know somebody, but you really don't. But I think those personal relationships grow you personally and the opportunities you have. The other thing I tell my team members is, as I call it, kind of flip your perspective of the matrix sometimes, of where always ask a why. Like when somebody comes to you, or you're in a meeting, somebody objects, or you get a request for something, always figure out what it is that person wants and what they need. And then when you figure that out, your whole job and perspective, everything just kind of clicks. You know why people ask things of you, or when they do certain things. And then to be strategic, either about yourself or the organization, about how you kind of move that forward from what you've learned. I think those are important things. And then I think lastly, I sold books when I was in college, and I think going through sales was one of the best things that I ever did, because really everything is a sale, whether it's in your personal relationships, your partner, your colleagues at work. Learning the process of sales is really important, and engaging people in that way I think is important.
So mine, what I believe is, it took me a while to learn this, but you can listen to everybody for advice, but choose what advice you decide to implement, because everybody's journey is different. When I started off in my career, I saw success and what I thought success was, and I tried to follow some of the footsteps that some of my mentors or other people took before me, and that just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. We're not the same person. We don't have the same journey. So I choose to listen to as many people as I can for advice, just so I can understand how different people got to where they got, to where they are. But you really have to be selective on what you choose to implement, because it could take you down a path that you do not want to be down. So that's my advice.
One thing I love seeing from our newer team members is when they ask questions. I'm a curious person by nature. That's part of why I got into journalism. So that was always what I would do as a younger reporter. Not just asking questions of the people you're writing about. I mean, asking questions in the office of your bosses. As Bradley said, why are you doing it this way? Or I noticed that you changed this thing in my story. Why did you change that? And even more important than I guess it shows that you're engaged in the work. It shows that you care about the product. But even more important than asking those questions is when I can see that you listen to the answers. I'm not a tough boss, I don't think. I'm not going to yell at someone if they get something wrong over and over again, but I'm going to be really excited if I see that they get something wrong a couple times, but then they get it right the third or fourth time. So I think asking questions and listening to the answers is what I would say.